Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Richard Eddington. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Evanston. I'd like to talk a little bit about the format for this afternoon. I'll make a couple of introductory remarks. We'll have a few short remarks by the Honorable Mayor Tisdall, and then Commander Jay Parrott will walk you through the investigation and take any questions that you have regarding the investigation and the outcome of that investigation. We're gathered here today to announce the arrest in the case of the homicide case of Dajae Coleman. First, let me express my sincere condolences to the family of young Mr. Coleman. His loss is profound, not only for the family, but for the entire community. Senseless crimes of violence like this leave scars on the community that are difficult to heal even after many years. I want to thank the EPD personnel who worked tirelessly on this case and brought this investigation to a successful conclusion. I also want to recognize the Northern Regional Crimes Task Force, NORTAF, and their Commander Dennis McInerney, Lieutenant John Walsh, Commander Kyle Murphy, and Sergeant Ryan Blue, who worked many hours on this investigation and brought it to a conclusion. I also want to thank members of the Cook County State's Attorney who worked tirelessly and were always at our beck and call to navigate through the complicated legal issues surrounding a complex homicide investigation. Lastly, I want to thank the members of the community. Had not community members come forward and provided us with the assistance we needed, we would not be here today having this press conference. And so it's critically important that we remember that partnership between the police and the community that makes difficult matters like this resolvable. I'd like to now introduce the Honorable Mayor Tisdall, Mayor of the City of Evanston.
Thank you, Chief. I would like to join in extending my sympathies to the Coleman family. Dajae was an example of what is best in our community, a wonderful young man who took advantage of everything that the City of Evanston has to offer. The challenge before us is to make sure that all of our young people take advantage of everything that is offered in this town. I'd like to congratulate the high school students on coming together and showing the Coleman family all of what is best in Evanston, a community that is bonded together and that mourns together. I am deeply sorry that the young man who was the perpetrator is an Evanstonian, and that reminds us that we must work even harder as a community to be sure that all of the advantages of living in Evanston are taken advantage of by all of our youth. I'd like to thank the Evanston Police Department, Chief Eddington, who did a marvelous job and always do. I'd like to thank the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and to be sure I get it right, I'd like to thank the North Regional Major Crimes Task Force for their work in resolving this and bringing safety to the streets of Evanston. Thank you all.
Hello, my name is Commander Jay Parrott of the Evanston Police Department. I would like to welcome the members of the Chicago area media and local Evanston media to this press conference regarding the homicide of Dajae Coleman, age 14, that occurred last Saturday, September 22nd. This investigation is a tragic one that involves the loss of a life of a young teenager. The Evanston Police Department extends its most sincere condolences to the family of the victim and the community affected by this murder. The Evanston Police Department and the North Regional Major Crimes Task Force have worked long days with countless hours to bring accountability to the individual responsible for Dajae's death before tomorrow's funeral. Also working with the detectives in this investigation to bring charges against the responsible party was the felony review personnel from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Arrested on Wednesday, September 27th, was Wesley A. Woodson III, age 20, of Evanston, Illinois. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office approved charges of first-degree murder and aggravated discharge of a firearm against Woodson last night. Investigators were able to locate witnesses early on in the investigation as a result of neighborhood canvasses immediately after the shooting. As a result of locating multiple witnesses, Woodson was identified as the person who shot Dajae Coleman. It was learned through the investigation that prior to the shooting, a large party was attended by teenagers from the area. Also in attendance at that party was the victim with several friends. The party was broken up by a parent after a fight had erupted around 10 p.m. involving two girls. Upon the party breaking up, approximately 150 teens had started walking east on Church Street, approaching the high school. As a result, several groups had begun fighting. As a result of one of those fights involved a person Woodson knew. Woodson, shortly after, received a phone call regarding this altercation. Woodson at this time had taken it upon himself to retrieve a 9mm handgun and confront a group seen walking east in the 1500 block of Church Street and fire 4 shots at the group. The group, of which Dajae Coleman was part of, began to run away from the shots. Dajae was shot in the back with the bullet exiting his chest while running. As a result, died at the scene. This group Dajae was a part of was mistaken for the group that had been involved in the altercation that Woodson received a call about. The investigation has revealed that Woodson has gang affiliations and that this group was this was a retaliatory act upon an innocent group of teens with no gang affiliations. Woodson had declined to make any statements during this investigation, and at this point in time, the firearm used by Woodson in the murder has not been recovered by police. Woodson appeared this morning in bond court at the Skokie Courthouse out in Skokie, Illinois, and is currently being held without bond. I'd like to thank the media for coming today in response to this incident. I'll now accept some questions regarding this.
So your cooperating witnesses, did they already know his name and know who he was and point you to him, or did you get to him another way?
Yes, there were some witnesses that initially knew who the defendant was.
Can anybody eyeball him at the scene, or do they see him when he returns to his home?
No, they have him eyeballed at the scene.
Were any words exchanged between Woodson and the group?
I'm not aware of the exact statements that were made at the scene. I believe there were some comments made, but I don't know exactly what.
Can you talk about some witnesses that were actually in the home with Woodson that night, about what they saw and witnessed?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what those people have said or what the statements were made regarding those witnesses.
Any idea what made him think that group was the group that jumped his relative?
Well, he received a call and made an assumption because the group was walking east on Church Street, and then that group was also walking, the group that the victim was in, was also walking east on Church. That was the first group that came by, and he made the assumption that that group was involved.
And your witnesses, did they come forward, or did you guys get to them?
The police had gone to them. There were some witnesses that were located immediately, and then also a neighborhood canvass conducted by the investigators located additional witnesses.
So had they not done that, we might not be here right now?
It's possible.
You recovered shells from the scene?
Yes, there were 4 shell casings recovered.
What kind of casings, what kind of gun do they belong to?
A 9mm.
And you don't know where that gun is as we speak?
At this point, we don't have it located. That's still going to be followed up on by the detectives.
Were the girls who were fighting at the party, did they go to Evanston Township High School?
I don't know where those girls went. They were not affiliated, they were not associated with this type of incident involving the offender and the victim.
Mr. Woodson has something of a criminal past on record. What can you say about that?
To my knowledge, he has a couple prior arrests as an adult, one for possession of controlled substance, and the other one was for a possession of a handgun.
Is it true that he was currently out on bond for the possession of a handgun?
I don't know the status of that particular case.
But the possession handgun came about in May of this year. That's the one where he was apparently shot.
I believe it was May of last year.
Of last year?
Yes, 2011.
Was he involved in the recent shooting? Was he shot?
I received information that over approximately within the last 6 months, he was the victim of a gunshot.
Was that gang related?
That I don't know. He was not cooperative in that investigation.
Meaning what? He was asked questions about who shot him, and what did he say?
He did not cooperate with police in regards to that investigation, so we never identified the person that shot him.
That was Evanston as well?
Yes,
And he's made no statement to you guys?
correct.
When you say gang affiliation, which gang is he affiliated with?
Information that was developed in the investigation that he's related to his associations with the gangster Disciple Street gang.
Was there any other police response to the fights that broke out as this party broke out? Were there police in the
Yeah, there was a police response. Initially, there was also a call of shots fired just prior to this incident, in which police were in the area.
Are any charges being considered against the person who made the call?
At this time, I don't believe so.
That was his cousin, was it?
I don't know the relationship between the individual. I know he was known to the offender, but I don't know the exact association.
But when the incident begins, There were some words said by Mr. Woodson, you allege, to the group walking toward him that Dajae was part of?
Yes, there were some words said, yes.
He was arrested on Wednesday?
He was arrested on Wednesday and charged last night.
Where was he arrested?
He was arrested at his residence.
Did any one of the kids who were walking together when Dajae was shot, are they able to eyeball the shooter?
I don't know exactly, I don't have the names of who the witnesses are. So there were witnesses at the scene that did identify the offender.
And saw him shoot with gun in hand, not anything later walking back to house?
Correct. So, any further questions? Okay, thank you very much for coming.